All right. Okay, welcome everyone to our week 2, I think, weekly sync.
Sure.
So we are going to start with the demo now. So any team can go. You show us the picture and then you walk us through the code as usual.
Okay, I will go first.
All right.
You need to enable me to share my screen.
Let's forget that. All right, let's try now.
Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, great. So the future what we implemented is to enable another user to join an existing list. So I will start now with some a random token, and if that token doesn't exist, we will get an error. But why aren't we? Sorry. Okay, here it is. I needed to refresh the page. And that error will disappear after 4 seconds. And if a user enter a token that does exist, we will use the one that we mentioned in our pull request, and it will redirect them to that list. So here there's all the items that that user with that correspondent token have added. Okay, this is for the, and also it's added here. Once we enter the existing token, it's added to the local storage. So that to the local storage of that user. So it will be saved there whenever he entered again. That's it for the future in production. Now we will move to the explaining the code. Okay, in order to avoid props derailing and also to make our code clear and implement our future, we needed to create a global state for the token, and we used the React context to do that. So we created the context folder and a file called token context. Simply what we did in this token context is that we created the context as the React docs, and after that we created a custom component provider called the token provider, and here we have the states that will be just the token in the local storage, that is in the user local storage, and after that we return the token context here dot provider, as that's how we're creating a context, and pass the value. The value is an object that will have the token, our token, and set the token that will change the token. And that provider will wrap the children, whatever children they will have, it will have. So after that, we take that token provider, what we have created, and wrapped our whole app with it. So that children here, the children what's here, they represent now, they will be all of this navbar and our components. So we will have access to the token and the token in all our components. And after that, the way how we will consume the token, we could just normal with use context, but we decided to use a custom hook to consume the context. Sorry. and it's simply the hook simply calling the use context, and we get in the value. The value will be the object that we actually passed here. So it's the token and set token. After that, if that value doesn't exist or it's undefined, that means that we are using the use context outside of a provider, and it will give us an error. This is just in case, even though we actually wrapped all our app in the context. So this error is probably will never happen, but just in case. For now, we are just constant log error because we are not handling errors till now in our application. Hopefully we will do so in the next week. And after that, we're returning that value. So this custom hook will return the context value, which is the token, which is an object that contains the token, and the set token function that we can change the token. And that's it for the React context and how we can use it. And I will pass it to DB to explain the future.
Right, so let's open here. So what we've done is in the home, we've created a component called share token form, and then we pass through that set token. So in here, we have created the form at the bottom with the label for share token. And then on change, it sets the select token value to be the target value. So set selected token. So the selected token is kind of like our local token. So here when we submit the form, we check to see if the token exists in this function here, which is an async function. So we connect to the database, and then we create a query to ask the database if there is a token, if it matches the selected token, and then we get the document to find out that. So then if that if the token doesn't have, if it's just 0, the length is 0, then it errors with the set incorrect token. So it will set the state of the incorrect token error to be token does not exist. It sets selected token to be nothing, empty string, and it times out after 3 seconds, and it sets the incorrect token error to be an empty string as well. Otherwise, it sets the incorrect token error to be null, and it gets the item from local storage, and then it sets the token. So set token is the one that we've passed down, and it sets that to be the selected token. And then at the bottom, this just displays the error. So if this is true, then that will happen as well. And that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, your feature really works when I was reviewing it, and it's really nice. And kudos with the use context and the custom hook you introduced. It was very thoughtful of you, and it makes using token anywhere a lot easier. So I wanted to ask, the set token that you also passed into the hook, did you get to use it anywhere? Is it useful?
Yeah, I believe we use it in the shared token.
Oh.
Yeah, we use the set token, set the selected token. So the selected token sets the,
So
do you want me to share again?
Is it like a different token? Is it different from what you're fetching from the local storage? Oh, so for the form you worked on, it's receiving a token and then it's saving it to local storage. So that's where the setting comes in. Okay, yeah. All right.
It saved the token to the local storage.
Okay, I understand.
And that's why it's redirecting the user to the list, because once it's added, once the local storage, the token is added to the local storage, the component re-render and the React router detects that, and it redirects the user directly, automatically to the list that was implemented in the other feature.
Previous, yeah.
Yeah, previous one.
understand.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Does anyone have any comments or questions concerning this particular issue? All right, can go to the other one.
Okay, I'm going to present our issue because Toby was having connection problems. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to show you like I need to share my screen first. There. So the acceptance criteria for this week issue was to show an error message if the user tries to submit a new item that has the exact same name as an existing item, or if the user tries to submit a new item that has the same name, not the exact same name, as an existing item where capitalization has been normalized and punctuation has been removed. And the important thing was that the user's original input should be what gets saved in the database. So here I have a list with those two items added. And if I go ahead and I add sugar with capital letter and add it, it should be added, it's there. Now, if I want to add the exact same thing, it will show me an error. Item already added, try another one. Then, for example, if I add, let's say, salt, capitals and a punctuation, it should be added. And then if I try to do that, the same item, but in small letters, I get the error again. So it works as it's supposed to work. And I go now to the code. So to achieve that, we fetch the data from the database from Firebase and set it to data, to the state. And then what we did was in the add item form component. So in the add item function within this component, which is in charge of adding the new item, we use a ternary operator saying if check duplication with the new item the user is trying to submit is true, please show the error message. Otherwise, add the new item. And I'm going to show these two functions, the check duplication function. Then what we did was to get again the database from Firebase and loop through all of the items. And using regex, we eliminate punctuation. We remove punctuation. Then we did the same with the current item the user is trying to submit. We remove punctuation with regex. And then we compare both the current item with the existing item while normalizing capitalization, and set item exists to true if the comparison is equal, if the items are the same. And of course, this function returns that Boolean items exist. And then in the show, in order to handle the error, in the show error message, we set the message to items already added, try another one. And then we wanted to focus the input field because that's very a user-friendly thing to do, and set again the message to an empty string. And again, to make it user-friendly, we did that inside a set timeout with 3 seconds. And that's it. That's our implementation.
Yeah, good job. It was a very, very beautiful implementation, and it works really well.
Thank you.
No wonder they said regex. Regex is so tiny but so powerful. Look how you were
Yeah.
able to pull up that with just a line of code and some tiny code. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really
Alright.
nice. I was a bit nervous presenting, but well, it's done.
Don't worry, by the time we are done with Collab Lab, you'll be a pro.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. All right. Is there any contribution or comments concerning this issue?
Hello, Giovanna. I would like to ask you how many times you retrieve data. In the first puller case, you retrieve data 2 times, but now you retrieve 1 time. That's right?
Like I retrieve the data from Firebase in 2 different components, one in list and again in add items form. That's what you mean?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, like if you want, I can share the screen
okay.
and show you. Yeah, this is the list component. And it's a good question because actually this one of the difficulties for me this week is like here in the list component, the data is retrieved. And then I wanted to select a method, an approach to get the data again in the sibling component, this one, the add item form, without repetition. But well, like after some guidance, I received the advice that sometimes repetition is not that bad, depending on the application. And if it's only in 2 components, it's not that bad. Like for me, it was like a sin to repeat code. But in this case, it wasn't that ineffective. So that's why I stick with a simple way. What I find really interesting is what Reda and Debbie did with context, React context. And I think that we are going to reformulate this next week. So that can also be used for this component.
It's more better if you retrieve 1 times.
Yeah,
Because you retrieve all data, not any constraints on the query, on the token. Yeah. But in the next weeks, you change these codes more better.
Yeah, we are going to refactor it and I'm going to learn how to use the context. I also saw other approaches like using Redux and yeah, or also using a utils file, and I attempted that, but then I got a lot of errors and it got really messy. So I thought it was simpler just to again retrieve the data in another component.
Jimena, can you please like in the are we using on snapshot also on the
add form?
Yeah, on add item form. What are we using actually?
Yeah, like the same thing as in list JS.
The same thing. So
yeah, the same thing. Here's snapshot.
Okay, because probably if we want to, for example, use context or maybe React context will be a good solution for this. I'm not sure because we need it's not just retrieving the data once anyway because it's listening to the data, so it's actually keep retrieving, if I am getting that right, on snapshots. It's like keep listening to the changes. So I'm not sure
if context will do the work, you mean?
Yeah. Or actually, if in this issue we can
leave it like this,
or maybe just hook. Maybe just a custom hook.
Just a custom hook.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
just a custom hook that will be listening
that-
for listening so that you can call the data anywhere you need it.
anyway, and we need it, yeah. That's what I was thinking, but also like the idea of using context, I don't know. Maybe to use a hook and use it in a context. I guess it depends on how much we will need this more, you know. If it's just 2 times, I don't think we need React context. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why what I was saying before, there are different approaches, and sometimes we need to think what is more efficient. Yeah.
Okay, we can make that better next week.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, of course. I also think that a hook will do the work, and maybe it's less complicated than the context, and it would do it for the thing we need.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and not too overcomplicated.
I know of a group in past cohorts that use context. They just created a file for it. I should probably find it and send you guys the link, right? Will it be helpful? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, but I couldn't actually understand the last part.
Okay, I was talking about a past cohort that used React hook for their fetching of data and everything, and it has the loading state and the error state. So I was asking if it would be helpful if I send you guys the link of their implementation.
If other folks want, yeah, for sure. I did it once in one of projects, as I said before. So probably, but for other folks, of course, I can share with them the project, or you can share with them what the past cohort did.
All right, it's okay.
I think that would be useful.
Method works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Yimena.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take the pair programming module now.
Chimaka, I will present pair programming. Okay. Are you seeing my desktop? Okay. Today I will present pair programming. What is pair programming? Two developers sit together in front of a computer and take turns writing code using just one keyboard. There is two persons in pair programming. One is driver and the other is navigator. Driver controls the keyboards and is responsible for writing the codes they need in order to complete the task. This person will try to verbalize their thinking process as much as possible as they could. Think low level about the code. The navigator pays close attention to codes and driver is writing, offering guidance with suggesting alternatives, finding answers to upcoming questions and challenges, and acting as a sounding board for the ideas in driver is coming up with. Things with a bird's eye view of the code. Before the Collab lab, you do pair programming with each other. One of driver, one of navigator, mostly. But pair programming is only you said that they all sit together in front of computer, not remotely. But in nowadays, pair programming doing remotely. Pairing remotely, there are a ton of amazing tools to make remote pairing even more collaborative, but incredible collaboration can happen with very simple setup. How is going on? Two developers hop on a video screen share call. Driver share a screen and calls while navigator provides feedback and asks questions. And this longs a time sometime. When you want to change role, driver push the code to remote repo and navigator pull data to call down locally. And navigator turn the driver and driver navigates repo and step back at step one and going on like this. Mindsets, attitudes. Pairing is an exercise in sharing your Lego. It can be more efficient to go with your pairing partner's idea than to argue on approach. Beginning minds, embrace doubt and possibility. Not about teaching, not mentorship. It is an opportunity to learn. Driver seek arrangement before proceeding. Navigator ask, don't tell. Paperonics like very advanced opportunity to learn, in my opinion. If two developers, one of senior, one of junior developers, a lot of learn to senior developer. Exactly. How does this alignment align with your pair programming experience so far? Are you any want to say anything? Do pair programming in your job?
I'm not working as a developer, so but this was my first experience pair programming, and I found it really rewarding in the sense that I can see how other people approach the same issue or approach coding in a different way, or I can learn from that. And my personal experience is that it's advantages and also has been frustrating, but at a personal level, because I compare myself all the time and I feel like other people have more experience, which they have. And of course, it's normal. There will be people with more or less experience than me. But as it is the first time, I also feel like sometimes it's difficult to handle that, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah, thank you. Paperwork is working. If two developers or one developer came to our team, if new developers come to my team, I do one person to work with. Newcomers working paperamics, the other ones mostly, but newcomers working and thinking I am doing issue. I separate developers exactly. But if there is a hard issue, if one issue is like that, hard issue, I want to talk to developers and do pair programming with that task. And nowadays, I'm changed my company. Nowadays, I'm working with mob programming. paperamics doing 2%, but mob paperamics doing 5%, 6%. What's the team size? Very good experience for me. The difference one. I'm not experienced with them, but in that company is good for me. Maybe next week I tell mob paperamic. Learn about paperamic. This site is very helpful. This site is not working. I open the website. Very good article in that site. And the paper lines in execution are very. This article is very interesting for me. What's these sites? It's a good one. I want to share this. There is a collaborative tool for remote programming. You do that. You try these programs. Teletype for Atom, the plugin of Atom. Atom is good editor, like Visual Studio Code. Before the Visual Studio, we write with Atom. Use the live share plugin. You do this plugin is very helpful. In the same time, you write in same code, like on computer. You try this plugin, live share.
No, I didn't try it. I guess we didn't. I don't know about the other pairs, but me with him and well, actually, I paired with all of them and we didn't use it. So, but it seems that. But does it work with Zoom, or it's different, or I don't know.
You
Is that with Zoom?
Zoom and then share with code another developer.
Yeah, it's live share. We actually use it at work. Sometimes it's a VS Code extension that you and your partner can be working on one project, and you'll be seeing their code, they'll be seeing your code, just like they are highlighting on the screen right now. So the other one pair is Amanda Silva, the other person is PJ Meyer. So you can be literally coding on one page, even though you're not in the same location. It's really nice.
I don't try this plugin. CodePen, not using the front end CodePen, you know the sites. You do in that. Code Anywhere is remote editor. In browser, you write in code in browser. I do in sometimes what I not like. Remote Collab for Sublime Text plugin. Code Sandbox Live. Code Sandbox, you know, is you looks this size some documentary. Code Sandbox very Cloud 9 is a remote IDE, browser IDE. Code Share, I don't know this IDE. Brackets, I don't do that. Coda, I'm not trying this too. Okay, that's all. In Collab, in most of codes run with pair programming. Each week's 2 issue for people. Are there any questions?
I mean, should we use any of these, or can we keep on doing what we've been doing, like coding with, meeting in Zoom, and then coding and pushing, and the other one, the other peer pulls?
You mustn't install these tools. If you want
I'm
to,
curious about the Microsoft, the Visual Studio extension. I'm curious about that, but I'm not sure if it's going to be like more complicated than keeping what we are doing.
We can try it next week.
Yeah, we can try it. I was thinking about that.
We are the
share your experience with tools. Okay.
Yeah, so many people have different methods of pair programming. So these are just tools to aid you. You can choose to come on Zoom, and then one person will be coding, the other person will be watching, or you can choose to do it together using any of these tools. Anyone works. I can just try them out though. I've used Live Share. It's really nice. Very, very nice.
I tried Live Share.
Ellie, do you use VS Code? For what ID do you use?
I'm not tried this tool.
Do you use VS Code to write code? Or you write Python, right?
Yeah.
What language do you write? Okay, Python. I think Python does not use VS Code. I don't know. But I know they have is it PyCharm?
Yeah, PyCharm. I'm not using PyCharm. I am using IntelliJ IDEA.
Okay.
There is some IDEA. But in company, I'm writing Unity. I'm game developer now.
Okay.
I'm writing C#.
No.
Very hard for me.
I've not checked any other language apart from JavaScript. And even if I would do that, it would be Python. I dread C# and Java.
Yeah, I'm working Java developer, but in company, we do virtual guitar assistance learning, some mobile application.
But we have backend developers.
Not backend. It's not backend side. We do in Firebase in backends. Exactly, most of the time it's we write in Unity. I am learning Unity.
Yeah.
What like desktop program, Unity?
Like web applications.
No, not like web application. Different experience for me.
All right, thank you so much for the pair programming module. We'll look at the issues now and go from there. All right, issue 7 says, as a user, I want to see a welcoming prompt to add my first item if my list is empty to help me get oriented to how the app works. So the AC says the list view, when there are no items to display, should show a prompt, example, a button for the user to add their first item. Note, the wireframe is a little short on the welcoming part of the story, but otherwise it's functionally complete. So it's just saying that if a user does not have any item, instead of just having just the navigation down here and this whole area so plain and blank. So merely looking at it, they might not really know like what is going on. How do I even proceed from here? And they'll see the navigation here, but it might not be so instructive enough for them to know the first action to take. So for this particular issue 7, you're supposed to display a welcoming text here, and then an add item button, which is supposed to take them to the add item component where they will put in their items. So, and the note is saying that this your shopping list is currently empty. It's not such a welcoming, well, it's not like welcome to your smart shopping list or anything like that. It just flat out tells you that it's empty, then a button. So you can choose to tweak it a little bit, but the emphasis is on telling the user that they don't have any items, and then giving them a button to navigate to the form where they will start adding their items. So you can just like decide on the welcoming message you want to go with, in addition to the button that would redirect them to the other page. Yeah, this one is quite simple. It's straightforward, right? Are there questions for this particular issue? All right. So issue 8 says, as a user, I want to mark an item on my shopping list as purchased so that the app can learn how often I buy different items. So the AC says user is able to tap a checkbox or a similar UI element to mark an item on the list as purchased. Secondly, the item should be shown as checked for 24 hours after the item is made. That is, we assume the user does not need to buy the item again for at least 1 day. Note, one challenge your pair may walk through is figuring out how they will test this. Example, maybe create a few sample items, then go to the Fire Store console and manipulate the dates. Of course, in order to, so that you don't have to wait for after 24 hours to see if your functionality works. So the wireframe, let me quickly open the wireframe, then I'll explain what's the, all right, something like this. So it's just like when a user buys eggs, for example. So they just bought, it just came back from the store, and then they check eggs as bought, like it's been purchased. So it's supposed to stay checked until after 24 hours. Then the checkbox will uncheck on its own. So we're assuming that when a user buys eggs, they won't need it for at least 24 hours, like at least for the following day. They already bought the one that can serve them till the following day. Then after that, the checkbox is expected to uncheck until the user buys that item again and then comes back to check it again as bought. So that's basically what this issue is. So you're expected to include a checkbox or a UI that is similar, where a user can check, can just like indicate that they have already bought the item. And then the checkbox should remain checked until after 24 hours. So the notes is just saying that in order for you to test if the checkbox unchecks after 24 hours, you can go to Firebase console and manipulate the time a little bit. I don't know if I've forgotten if you're saving, is it milliseconds? So you can just not putting time yet. Okay. Okay, so it's from this issue that you're supposed to start tracking the time the user bought the item. So it's that time that you start manipulating, that you manipulate in the Firebase console. So when a user checks the item now, right now, you're expected to note the time they checked it so that you can check when it will be 24 hours so that the checkbox can uncheck. So it's that time that you get that this note is saying that you can manipulate it from Firestore. By the time you're already saving the time that they purchased the item, you can just like push it back a little bit so that it will be more than 24 hours so that the checkbox will not check. And also when we are when we are testing the feature, that's also what we'll do. We'll add an item, then take it back like 2-3 days ago, and we expect that the checkbox should uncheck on its own because it's past 24 hours. So yeah, is this straightforward?
Yeah, I have a question. The wireframe contains more items than the acceptance criteria required for, right? Because we only are supposed to add the checkbox and not the details
Yeah.
delete.
Yeah. No. This is just what we're
Okay.
interested in. We are not even doing the search yet. This filter is filter and delete. We'll do them later, not now.
Okay.
So we're only concerned with the checkbox and then the items for now, for this particular issue 8. Then for issue 7, it's expected to show a welcome message when the list is empty.
Yeah.
I have another, I don't know, can you go back to the Firebase? There is something weird going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why we have items inside items?
I think it's not the same thing with, is it the same thing with every,
Okay,
you know,
just
you had a lot of iterations, you had a lot of, it's probably when you were writing the code and you were testing it.
okay. So probably we need to delete all of that and start it all again.
Yeah. So let me, yeah, that should be it though.
You store last
Could
purchase
you,
time in Firebase and retrieve with time.
I didn't get that. I Alex.
In this issue, you store last purchase time in Firestore. Last
Yes.
purchase time you store in there, and when retrieving, you where query with purchase time, last purchase it.
Yeah. So I think the
24
last purchase is
24 hours.
Yeah, I think the last purchase will now be the time that they check that checkbox, because it's assumed that that's exactly when they purchased it.
You refactor only this code, last purchase and retrieving data.
Yeah. Reda, can you send me the, so did you do your what is it called? Did you do your demo from the hosted link, from the Firebase link, or from local storage, from local host?
The demo I did it from the production side.
Okay,
From
can you
the,
quickly drop it in the chat, please?
yeah, sure.
I want to be sure they
I'm trying to get out from the, okay. Just,
I just want to be sure this one is not a current. Yeah, I don't think it's a current method.
okay, I send it in the chat. Probably it's better to delete all and then
Yeah, it will definitely help to trim down the, okay. So this is me. Yeah. So I wanted to see if this method is the correct. So this might probably be when you guys were still writing the code and then testing, doing a lot of tests,
Yeah.
and then yeah. So this is how it acts now, and this is the correct method. All right. So are there any preferences? Quickly check how you fared this week. Contributions. This date is 24 to 30th. We're in week 4. I said week 2. All right. So who is taking issue 7? Who's taking issue 8?
I always choose, so I let other people to choose now.
All right. So it seems there are no preferences. So do I do it randomly? And
Just go
also
ahead.
yeah, and also
More easy.
No, nobody wanna seem that you pick the easy issue. So
oh, nobody wants the easy issue. It's only tech you see people going for the hard ones.
yeah, usually. So
Yeah, the more the challenge, the more the learning. And to also probably the group that will do the issue 7 will might be the group that will do the refactoring, so that since it's pretty straightforward, that they might have a lot of time to spare and they can work on the refactoring.
yeah, please give us the easy.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we can focus on refactoring.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We'll have to do the best refactoring ever, Reda, now. We are screwed.
So Toby and Debbie, are you okay with issue 8?
Yes.
And sorry, Debbie and Toby, for giving you that other.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
We are
Anyway,
all on Slack. When
yeah, we are all on Slack anyway. So
yeah, if don't spend a lot of time on any blocker. Just if you just check it a little while and it seems difficult, you can just like shout us on Slack and all of us look at it together.
That's what I did last week, and it was really helpful.
Yeah. Because it can really be frustrating when you spend a lot of time trying to figure out something and then somebody comes to look like, see this line, this is where the issue is. And you spent so many hours looking for the issue. So it's always helpful to like bring in people on time. All right. We did fine today. So that's it. We don't have any pending thing to talk about. All right, then we'll see you on Slack. All right. Bye. Thank you for attending today's thing.
Bye. Thank you.
Mhm.